Thanks. Clicker for the slides. Anyone over there? No? Are they out of here? Okay, we might be only presenting this one slide. It's a pretty good one. It's got buildings. Thank you. All right, hey everybody, good almost afternoon. Big thanks to Street Fight for hosting us. Pretty epic day. So, as she said, my name is Philippe. I'm a product director at MapQuest, and I was formerly the head of product for a company called Social Radar. Right, we were recently acquired. And I want to tell you guys a little bit about some pitfalls we ran into while working on location technology that I hope is helpful to you guys. We set out to build an app called Social Radar. And the idea was to connect people to the world around them, which is kind of a lofty goal. And it's been attempted before. And it's really dependent on two core technologies. Let's see if this works. Booyah. Great. So user location and mapping. Two technologies that we assumed were fully baked, which ended up not being fully baked for us. So user location, of course, is using the GPS sensor on the device, and mapping is mapping as we know it. And we thought we could easily combine these two and tell people where they were and what was around them. And it ended up being a lot harder than we thought. And I'll tell you why. So user location. So GPS did not turn out to be the sensor we had hoped it was. We read tons of documentation that said, you can get within 3 feet accuracy. Maybe some people said 3-meter accuracy. And we're like, that's great. That's exactly what we need. And it's baked into the device already. So it's all out of the box and should be ready to go. So I'm seeing some smiles because I know you guys know that's not the case. Maybe if you've got every sensor turned on, you've got no buildings around you, there's no cloud in the sky, and the satellite is right above your head, you might get 3 feet accuracy. So that was something we had to solve for. And we got pretty creative. We used all the other sensors on the device, and I think we got pretty close. Enough that we were happy with it, and we decided to move on to the next challenge. And we said, cool, we've got a lat long for our users. Google, where are they standing? And we'd give Google a lat long and expect, well, obviously we know where they're standing because we're Google and we know where everything is. Turned out nobody knows where anything is. So Google would say to us, well, it looks like they're pretty close to a Starbucks, kind of close to McDonald's. Could be that JCPenney. 2 of them, their hours are open right now, so that's a good bet. But one of them may or may not be out of business, so good luck. So our assumption was that everybody knew where everything was, and we were really wrong. And we didn't know why. We were pretty new to the mapping industry, so we found out about this big thing called POIs, points of interest. Okay, so let's become experts at POIs. So we went and we got sample files for every POI provider out there. And so for those who don't know, POIs are, they're basically databases of businesses that have attributes like their location and their store hours and things like that. And it's actually pretty hard to keep those up to date and make them accurate, as we learned. So we get a sample file for everybody. We're like, all right, let's throw everybody's POIs on a map for one city and just figure out what's the best, because we need to find the best one for our use case. And we threw them up on a map, and we found some pretty interesting things. We discovered that, wow, these 4 kind of all have the same POIs, and these 4 all kind of have the same ones, and these 2 are similar. Looks like everybody licenses from each other. Okay, so that's how the industry kind of works. Good to know. Then we realized, okay, they're all using a point, and that's the reason why we had a problem reverse geocoding our users. They're basically telling us how close they are to a point. Well, we all know that a point is not, a Starbucks isn't a dot. A Starbucks has 4 walls, and it's more of a shape, and it's a geometry. So, okay, nobody's using geometries, so that's interesting to us. And then we did a further analysis, and we realized, okay, so a lot of these points are not even anywhere near where they're supposed to be. So a third of the POIs we looked at were not in a building at all. They would just be out in the middle of the street because they didn't have a good way to put them in a building. Okay. Then another third of POIs were in a building, but it turned out to be the wrong building, which explains why, if you call your Uber and your Uber's like, I'm here, and you're like, I don't see you, it's because he's at a POI that's halfway down the block. And then the last third of POIs, they got into the right building, but they didn't know exactly where that was within a building. So if you're an app developer who's trying to say, hey, I've got a guy who's standing right here, please tell me what venue that is, there was no good way to do that. So we had to find a way. So what we really wanted was we wanted a POI set that was always accurate, that had geometries that could tell me this is the outline of the entire store, and did that for the entire US. And we couldn't find it, so we had to build it. So we got pretty creative, and we got some satellite imagery. Wow, that's a great image. A lot of fuzz. We got some satellite imagery, and we got some people, and we built some tools, and we were able to map out the entire US and get the exact lat long of the left side of every storefront and the right side of every storefront. And then we were able to create a polygon around that, and we got the exact lat long of the door, and that became immensely valuable to us because we were building this really cool app. But we decided, hey, let's take this map and let's go show it to some people, see what they think. So we went and talked to emergency responders. We thought, hey, this could be a good fit for them. This might be interesting. And the response was, oh my God, we've been needing this for so long. How do you have it? We're so happy about this. Let's make a deal. Great. Then we went to Big Auto, and Big Auto's like, we're putting cars on the road that are going to drive themselves pretty soon. We really need to know where everything is. Amazing. It's good to hear. And we went to, ad tech space, and the ad tech space was really like, you have that? Please don't tell anybody that you have that. Everybody thinks we already have that. We're like, okay, well, we'll make you a deal too. So it turns out there was a lot of demand because this solved a lot of problems for people because we know where everything is. And it turns out that that's the first time that somebody has that. So if that's interesting to you guys at all, if you're working on a problem that you think we could help with, we'd love to talk. This is out there, and we'd love to help people solve big problems. So that's it for me. Thanks for the time.